Dann herzlich willkommen zu unserer heutigen Pressekonferenz anlässlich der Album-Release vom neuen Album von Mitch Winehouse und der Thilo Wolf Big Band. Swinging Cole Porter, 14 Songs völlig neu arrangiert. 14 Songs des amerikanischen Jazzkomponisten Cole Porter. Und ich begrüße alle, die hier im Raum sind, analog bei uns da sind und auch all diejenigen, die online zugeschaltet sind. Und bevor wir in die Fragerunde gehen, möchten Thilo Wolf und Mitch Winehouse gerne eine Nummer aus dem Album zum Besten geben. Und danach gehen wir in die Fragerunde über. Die wird auf Deutsch und auf Englisch natürlich stattfinden. Und falls jemand Probleme beim Englischen hat, bin ich natürlich gerne da und kann das Ganze dann auch übersetzen.
Wir können sie ja immer so ein bisschen auch parallel.
Ja,
ne?
genau, so ein bisschen locker flockig dann.
Genau, und die Caroline Kiesewetter begrüßen wir auch sehr herzlich.
Caro.
Oh, guten Morgen!
Hallo, guten Morgen.
Hi,
Schön,
Caroline.
dass du zugeschaltet bist.
Genau. Caro
Und
hat ja
an
auch.
Caro, ja. Genau, an Caro können dann gerne auch Fragen gestellt werden. Ja. Jetzt erstmal viel Spaß bei I Concentrate on You.
Whenever skies look gray to me and trouble begins to brew, whenever the winter wind becomes too strong, I concentrate on you. When fortune cries nay, nay to me, and people declare you're through, whenever the winter winds become my only song, I concentrate on you. On your smile, so sweet, so tender, when at first my kiss you do decline, on the night in your eyes when you surrender, and once again our arms intertwine. So when wise men say to me that love young dreams they never come true, to prove that even the wise men can be wrong, I concentrate on you. Bravo!
Swinging Cole Porter. Das sind 14 Songs aus der Feder von Cole Porter. Das sind 5 Arrangeure. Das sind ganze 22 Musiker, die an dem Album beteiligt waren. Aufgenommen hier bei uns in den Wavehouse-Studios und gemastert in den berühmten Abbey Road Studios in London. Ersten Kritikerstimmen zufolge ist das Album sehr, sehr frisch, sehr, sehr modern, sehr, sehr zeitlos im Sound. Und das auch nicht zuletzt wegen der frischen, jugendlichen Stimme von Mitch Winehouse. Because of your voice is so young and fresh.
Thank
the sound
you.
is
I'm not so young and fresh, but my voice is good.
Amazingly timeless sound. Yeah, Mitch, was this the purpose of the album? Did you want to sound fresh? Also ich habe ihn gefragt, ob das Absicht war. Also sollte das frisch und modern klingen oder war das Zufall?
Well, can I
Yes,
speak, yeah?
yeah.
So this was my 7th album, one way or another, six or seven. And most of the songs that we do, that I've done in the previous albums, have been the standard songs, and they've been sung in the standard way. So I'm singing it, Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett, Thilo might as well be singing it. what we wanted to do with this album was we wanted to rework these songs, which are some of the greatest songs that have ever been written. Cole Porter is one of the greatest songwriters of all time. And we wanted to reintroduce them to people today, because there are young people today who would not have heard these songs. Mm-hmm. But we didn't want to play them in the traditional way. So the songs are different. The arrangements are different, and I sing them slightly differently as well because the arrangements are different. And that's what makes the album so great. And from my point of view, I've worked with Thilo for a few years, and this is something that we've spoken about for a while. And to get an opportunity to do any album with Thilo, which I think is the best swing band in Germany, is a great honour for me. And to sing these songs as well is incredible. So that's why it's such a lovely album. It's different, it's great musicianship. I think I do a pretty good job on it as well. So it's a real good album.
Haben das jetzt alle verstanden oder möchten Sie? Ja? Okay. Yeah, the next question is already almost answered, but why Cole Porter? Because it's your favorite jazz composer?
Yeah, I think that Cole Porter was one of the top 5 songwriters in America, and the songs are, if you listen to the lyrics, the songs are brilliant. And the next song that we're going to sing, I Love You, he wrote in 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
His friend, they were sitting in his studio, and it was a guy called Monty Woolley, said to him, I bet you can't write a song in 5 minutes. And he wrote this song, I Love You, in 5 minutes.
Wow.
He just sat there and wrote the song. And my daughter Amy loved Cole Porter songs as well. So, I mean, I introduced her to the Cole Porter songs, and I Concentrate on You she loved, and many others. And she would say to me, how you know, Amy was one of the great songwriters of the 21st century. She said, how can anybody write a song like I Concentrate on You? To her, it was magic. And she really, as a songwriter, she really appreciated other songwriters. And Cole Porter was one of her favourites.
Wow.
Ja, und deswegen haben wir uns auch Arrangeure gesucht. Ich meine, es gibt ja dieses Kernarrangeurs-Team, das sind Christoph Müller und ich, die für die Big Band das meiste schreiben. Wir haben uns aber ganz bewusst noch geöffnet und haben noch andere Arrangeure hinzugenommen, um dem Album noch zusätzliche Frische zu geben. Einer von den Arrangeuren war Cole Porter, Lutz Krajewski, nein, Cole Porter ist gestorben, war Lutz Krajewski, den kennt man als eigentlich den musikalischen Kopf und Erfinder von Roger Cicero. Der hat die berühmten Alben arrangiert, und Lutz hat auch eine ganz besondere Frische in dieses Album reingegeben. Dann hat man noch Ralf Hesse, der auch für ganz viele große Leute geschrieben hat, unter anderem Udo Jürgens. Und wir hatten hier noch einen regionalen Pianisten, den ich auch sehr bewundere, Michael Flügel. Auch der hat es ganz fantastisch für die Big Band geschrieben, sodass wir 5 Arrangeure am Start hatten mit Christoph und mir, wo jeder seine eigene Handschrift zum Besten gibt, wo wir doch versucht haben, die Musik aus einem Guss zu schaffen und der Musik von Cole Porter ein bisschen was Frisches zu geben. Ja, gerne.
Cole Porter Songs sind jetzt wirklich die am meisten interpretierten Stücke der Jazzgeschichte eigentlich. Also das heißt, von fast allen diesen Songs gibt es ja bereits Hunderte, wenn nicht Tausende von Versionen. War es nicht sehr schwierig, da eine eigene Handschrift überhaupt zu finden, irgendeine Version oder irgendeine Stilrichtung, mit der noch nicht gearbeitet wurde, weil jeder versucht ja im Prinzip seine eigene Handschrift in diese Songs reinzulegen.
Ja, ich wiederhole die Frage, dass man es ja auch im Internet hört. Die Frage ist berechtigt, warum Cole Porter, und ist es nicht wahnsinnig schwierig, diesen Songs, die so oft interpretiert wurden, noch eine neue Handschrift zu geben? Absolut richtig. Und es gibt ja Arrangements wie I Get a Kick Out of You. Da kennt man die Version von Frank Sinatra so, das ist quasi genauso bekannt wie der Song. Das wollten wir bewusst nicht. Wir haben gerade deswegen versucht, wirklich unsere eigene Handschrift reinzukriegen, weg von den Dingen, die man kennt. Wir haben sie auch nicht zitiert, sondern wir haben wirklich unsere ganz eigenen Versionen gemacht. I Concentrate on You ist eine Nummer, die Lutz Krajewski geschrieben hat und der hat sie zu so einer Bossa Nova Nummer gemacht. Man könnte die auch am Strand in Brasilien hören. Und so hat jeder eben versucht, seine ganz persönliche Note reinzugeben. Ne? Wir können das hier mit Klavier und Gesang natürlich nur leicht skizzieren, aber wenn die ganze Big Band dann spielt, dann glaube ich, kriegt man eine Idee davon. Vielleicht kann auch die Caro aus Hamburg, die dazu geschaltet ist, was dazu sagen. Cole Porter ist ja nicht so ganz einfach, gell?
Hallo aus Hamburg, erstmal freue mich, euch zu sehen. Cole Porter ist natürlich einer der berühmtesten und der tollsten. Und es gibt so viele Songs. Und ich glaube, er gehört den Komponisten, wo jeder sagt, auf mal ein, zwei Songs, jeder. Und das macht ja auch die Reiz aus, das macht ja auch den Spaß aus. Und man freut sich ja auch, wenn man diese Melodien hört, das macht ja auch etwas mit einem. Ob man Jazz-Liebhaber ist oder nicht, es ist eine große Freude, diese Musik zu hören und sie zu interpretieren, allemal.
Genau, Caroline Kiesewetter, vielleicht wissen es nicht alle, ist auf diesem Album auch vorhanden. Sie hat 2 Duette mit Mitch gesungen. Und es ist hier immer so, das ist vielleicht noch eine kleine Ergänzung von mir, wenn 2 Sänger zusammenkommen, Mann und Frau, die müssen ja nicht nur musikalisch harmonieren, die müssen ja auch menschlich harmonieren. Und das war, als Caro und Mitch aufeinander stießen, das war einfach eine wahre Freude, das zu sehen, wie das sofort gefunkt hat, wie da sofort eine Fröhlichkeit und eine Herzlichkeit entstand. Die hört man in den Songs, die sieht man aber auch auf der Bühne. Wir haben schon 2 Konzerte gemeinsam gemacht. Und ich freue mich natürlich sehr, wenn wir dann im nächsten Jahr ein bisschen auf Tour gehen, dass dann die Caroline auch dabei ist. Und mit Mitch zusammen, das ist wirklich sehr, sehr schön und herzerfrischend anzusehen.
Die nächsten Fragen, da würde ich jetzt einfach rumgehen, wenn Sie Fragen haben, und dann nehmen wir das mit diesem Mikro auf, damit es auch online übertragen werden kann. Sie dürfen.
Ja.
Okay.
Ganz viel Gelegenheit, ja. Wir haben noch genügend Gelegenheit, Fragen zu stellen, auch online. Wir nehmen uns die Zeit. Ja.
Wie haben Sie sich denn überhaupt kennengelernt?
Nochmal bitte?
Wie haben Sie sich denn überhaupt kennengelernt, Thilo und Mitch?
Ja, wie haben wir uns kennengelernt? How we met first. I was on holidays. Ich war im Urlaub in San Francisco und später auch dann in Miami, und irgendwie war mir ein bisschen langweilig und ich habe mich ein bisschen mit der Geschichte von Amy Winehouse beschäftigt, und da habe ich das Buch von Mitch entdeckt, My Daughter Amy. Und dieses Buch ist hochspannend gewesen, weil man eine ganz andere Seite der Geschichte sieht. Vielleicht kann Mitch noch was dazu sagen. Und in diesem Buch habe ich erfahren, dass Mitch 2 Big Band Alben hat. Und ich habe natürlich sofort gegoogelt über Apple Music. I wanted to listen to Mitch CDs, his former CDs. And I said, wow, this is brilliant. He's a really brilliant singer. And I wanted to invite him to Germany. And then I wrote a mail and he answered. So we came together. It's very easy.
We met in Prague.
Yeah, we met in Prague. Yeah.
Did you come to see the show in Prague?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we met in Prague. You came to meet me in Prague.
Yeah. This was our first meeting, and it was it fits. So.
Noch weitere Fragen. Sie können gerne.
For how long have you been a singer, Mitch? When did you start singing?
I started singing professionally or semi-professionally in my early 20s. So people think I've just started singing. You know, I started singing in my early 20s professionally, and I normally make a joke in English now. The joke is, you might not get it, I was so good that I became a London taxi driver. Did you get the joke?
Yes.
Because I was a good singer, but I didn't earn any money.
Yeah.
I thought I was fantastic. Nobody else did. Apart from my daughter. My kids always thought I was great, but everyone else, no, I was good. But in the 60s, everyone was doing the Beatles, the Rolling Stones. In the 60s, I was doing Frank Sinatra. No one was interested. So, and I carried on singing, doing shows all through my life, you know. And Amy would come to every show, even when she was a little girl and then a bigger girl, and then we started singing together on stage occasionally. You know, but I've been going for a long time.
So you think you've been a great influence on your daughter?
Well, it's not for me to say whether I've been a great influence, but I have.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a better singer than her mum. Her mum's not a good singer. But her mum, had 4 professional musicians, uncles in her family. So she gets the musicianship from her mum, and she gets the singing from us, from my family.
Will sonst noch jemand Fragen stellen?
Ist kein Problem.
So your name will always be related to your daughter. Do you see this as an advantage for your career?
Well, what, as a singer,
Oh yeah, of course. Or as a taxi?
you know, I'm not a taxi driver anymore. You may not know, we have a foundation.
Yeah,
We have a
so-
charity. I mean, it's a very big charity. We have in the UK. We're in the last 5 years, we've addressed over 500,000 kids, young people in school, about the issues surrounding drugs and alcohol and other things that children are struggling with. We have a recovery house, so that when young women come out of rehab, they've got nowhere to go. They have to go back where they were. We have a recovery house. They can come and stay with us for up to 2 years. We're just about to open another one. We've got 2 projects in St Lucia. We have a project in Brooklyn. So of course my name is obviously associated with my daughter's name. It's the Amy, and our family run the foundation. I helped to run the foundation as well. So I'm not a full-time singer. You know, this is. I do this, but I do it for the money for the foundation. So everything, when I wrote my book, all the money went to the foundation. When we sell 10 million albums, all the money will go to the even Thilo's money. No, not Thilo's money. The money will go to our charity. So Amy's my daughter. I'm her dad. We are interlinked. But you know, Amy hasn't furthered my career. You know, I do the shows that I want. I did a show 3 days ago in the north. I've got a tour of the north of England. You know, my name is Winehouse. I had it before Amy.
Yeah.
You know, it was my name before it was Amy's name. So, you know.
But maybe one interesting fact could be that Amy has encouraged you to record the first album.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
On my first album, which was I nearly said 1990, 2010, Amy produced the album with the producer, and we worked out the songs together, and we had maybe 40 songs. And so when we recorded the first album, Amy was in the studio every day, and it was difficult to work because she's a joker, you know, and she was messing around the whole time. Very difficult she just wants to make jokes all the time. And after she passed away, we had a lot of songs left over that we chose together, so we created the second album, and you know, so we went from there.
And do you feel that there is a special expectation to you as a singer? Because I mean, Amy was known as one of the greatest singers in the world.
Yeah.
And now maybe people expect, oh, her father must be the god of all singers.
Well, I wouldn't say I was the god of all. No, you know, Tony Bennett, as you know, Tony Bennett and Amy did the duet for Body and Soul. You know this? Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got the Grammy. Oh, she got the Grammy with Tony. And it's difficult because Tony's not well, you know, he has Alzheimer's. But before he got ill, we would see him a lot. His son, Danny, is one of our trustees at our charity in New York. So we see the family quite a lot. He said to me, Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, Diana Washington, Amy, no particular order, the 4 greatest female singers in the world. You know, that's Tony Bennett saying that, not me. So whether there's that expectation on me or not, I don't know. All I know is we make beautiful music, we sing lovely songs, and I do the best that I can. and people buy the album or they don't buy the album. What can I do?
Vielleicht nochmal eine Frage Richtung online zugeschaltete Gäste. Nina, ist da jemand dabei, der vielleicht eine Frage stellen möchte? Oder mag jemand sein Mikrofon öffnen? Ich sehe, da sind jede Menge da, aber niemand traut sich.
Bis jetzt haben wir noch keine Fragen online.
Okay.
Okay, aber vielleicht gibt es ja eine Frage an die Caroline.
Eine Frage an die Caroline. Wie war das, mit Mitch zu singen für dich? Was war das für eine Erfahrung?
If I'd have known Carolyn was here, we could have done our duet.
Yeah,
This would have been cool.
that's true.
I love Paris in the springtime.
Ja, es war eine ziemliche Überraschung, Mitch kennenzulernen. Ich arbeite ja schon mit Thilo seit nunmehr 12 Jahren zusammen. Wir haben uns in Fürth kennengelernt, in Thilos Heimatstadt. Und dann habe ich vor 2 Jahren ein Konzert gespielt mit Thilo auf dem Nürnberger Opernball. Und da war Mitch eingeladen als Gast. Und dann sagte Thilo, ich habe so viel Lust, wollt ihr nicht ein paar Sachen zusammenlegen? Und er hatte natürlich extrem große Lust und Freude. Und wie Thilo vorhin sagte, es muss ja zwischen 2 Sängern noch eine Atmosphäre und eine Verbindung entstehen. Das hat gleich so unglaublich viel Spaß gemacht, dass wir, glaube ich, ziemlich im Anschluss ins Studio gegangen sind. Und das war toll. Macht wahnsinnig viel Spaß, mit Mitch zu musizieren. Er ist ein wahnsinnig erfahrener Jazzsänger und für mich war das sehr aufregend und es hat mir wahnsinnig viel Spaß gemacht.
She says she liked it.
Yes, she could have said I like it. She didn't have to make a whole speech for 20 minutes. we had good fun, yeah?
Yeah.
Caroline,
Yeah,
it was
we
good fun.
did.
Two great tracks.
Much. Sorry that I couldn't come today. I really
sad.
loved
Yeah.
singing with you again, Mitch. But you're looking well.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
Ja, so ist das.
Hat noch jemand eine Frage an die Caro? Von den Gästen, die hier sind? Nein? Sonst noch Fragen?
Ja, wird
Okay.
es Live-Präsentationen geben? Wird es Live-Präsentationen geben?
Ja, das haben wir geplant. Also wir haben jetzt am Freitagabend hier im Kulturverein haben wir noch ein spontanes kleines Konzert angesetzt. Nur in kleiner Besetzung mit Piano, Beatrice Kahl wird an der Orgel sein, Paul Höchstädter am Schlagzeug und Christian Diener am Bass. Mitch und ich, wir werden so ein bisschen einen kleinen Auszug aus diesem Album singen und spielen. Es wird für nächstes Jahr, da sind natürlich Konzerte geplant. Wir sind gerade dabei, einen Plan zusammenzustellen und auch Konzerte zu akquirieren. Dann natürlich mit der ganzen Big Band und auch mit Caroline Kiesewetter. Und dann kann man dieses wunderbare Paket auch live auf der Bühne bewundern.
Aber konkrete Termine gibt es noch keine.
Nein, wir sind noch am Arbeiten. Ja. Die Corona-Zeit hat schon natürlich einiges durcheinandergewirbelt. Wir haben natürlich auch, das sage ich ganz offen, schon ein bisschen auch damit zu kämpfen, dass natürlich eine riesige Produktionslawine bei den ganzen Konzerthäusern und Theatern vor sich hergeschoben wird. Und, aber das lichtet sich so langsam. Ne? Also ich denke, dass wir in die zweite Jahreshälfte 2022 gehen werden und dann werden wir einige Termine haben. Aber die geben wir dann rechtzeitig bekannt. Gibt es weitere Fragen aus dem Auditorium,
Sie haben
hier
jetzt
aus
die
dieser
Möglichkeit,
kleinen Runde,
exklusiv.
aus dem Internet vielleicht?
Ich habe mein
Nina, haben wir
Mikro.
noch Leute aus dem Internet?
Sie hören mich nicht.
Ich sehe im Chat einen Punkt.
Das hier.
Wo ist denn die Nina? Hört ihr mich? Nina? haben wir noch Fragen aus dem Netz? Weil ich sehe einen Chat, glaube ich.
Bis jetzt habe ich keine
Okay.
Fragen im Chat, nein.
Gut.
Ich höre
Okay.
euch so schlecht und
Die,
Okay,
die mögen lieber alle gerne nur zuhören.
genau. Schön. Ja, gut.
Vielleicht noch eine Frage
Ja, gerne.
an Mitch. Mitch, did you have, when you were young, some special singer, some kind of idol which inspired you to sing? Some big name?
Yeah,
Who was it?
Frank Sinatra,
Frank Sinatra.
Tony Bennett. You know, but I've learned a lot about. Tony Bennett loved Frank Sinatra. Tony Bennett told me this himself. He loved Frank Sinatra. But I know Frank Sinatra wasn't the nicest of men when it came to women, and that really started to bother me. And you know what? I can't listen to Frank Sinatra anymore. It's really strange. It's really, really, really strange. You know, if you read a lot about him, he was not a nice man. He was not a nice man, and you know, he was really very misogynistic.
Wow.
And you know, I'm not particularly PC, you know, politically correct, but that stuff really bothers me. And I don't listen to Frank Sinatra anymore. I listen to Tony Bennett all the time, and Nat King Cole, obviously, wonderful, and all Dinah, Ella Fitzgerald. And you know what? It's only been the last 2 years that I've been able to listen to Amy, because before that I would just start crying or run out the room if her music was on. But I can listen to the music now, and I really appreciate her music and her singing. And her singing on covers was better than on her own songs. You know, she sang some just great songs of other people's, and they were even better than her own songs, because her own songs were written in her own key and they were comfortable for her. When she's singing Don't Go to Strangers with Paul Weller, that's not in her key, so it's just a stretch for her, and yet she's made that song her own. Absolutely incredible. I'm beginning to understand, even though she was my daughter, how great she was. And what was even greater about her was that she didn't even know it. You know, she had no idea of her talent, none. You know, she thought everybody...
Did you tell her as your father?
Well, of course. I said, wow, this is fantastic. And she said, you know, I'd say, when you write a song, oh, Dad, you know, like everybody knows how to write a song, only they don't. But funnily enough, she used to come to me about key changes. She didn't quite get, bearing in mind she can read and write music, sometimes she did songs where the key changes were wrong for her, and believe it or not, I helped her out with that, and her breathing, because she never had any singing lessons. She you know, so she would be halfway through a phrase and she'd take a breath. Well, you don't want to be halfway through a phrase and take a breath. You do the phrase and then take the breath, if you know what I mean. But some of her best work wasn't her own songs. You know, I don't know if you know the song Don't Go to Strangers. I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, it is absolutely a brilliantly sung, and many others like that. So, as I say, you know, it's only been the last couple of years that I've been able to listen to the songs and her own songs, and listen to the words and the lyrics. I'm going, you know, I'm reading something and I'm going, I had that conversation with her about rehab. It's in the song, word for word. And there's another song where I had a conversation, and it's because I'd have a conversation, or I'd be in the middle of a conversation, she'd, just a minute, Dad, and she'd go and write something in a book, then she'd come back and we'd start the conversation again. So she was masterful. She was actually quite brilliant. And as I say, it wasn't something that she'd say, you know, I don't want to name drop, but I will. I mean, I was talking to Carole King, and Carole King still 6 hours a day on the piano. Adele, every day on the piano. Amy, every 7 weeks, 8 weeks, she'd do something. You know, she'd be with her friends, she'd be with her boyfriend, she'd be with her aunties, she'd be with me, she'd be with her mum. And she'd go, oh, I've got to go in the studio, I've got to do... You know, basically, she recorded that album and prepared the album for Back to Black in 3 weeks. We were at our house in Spain, and she sat round the pool, eating candy, eating sweets, and writing Back to Black. You know, so it wasn't her it was a passion, but it wasn't her all. You know, it wasn't. She wasn't going to die for her art.
Yeah.
You know, there were other things that were just as important to her, and in a way, that kind of makes it even more. That makes it even more sensational, because she didn't sit there all day, 10 hours a day writing, and she didn't do that at all.
So did you talk a lot to her, arguing that she should change her life?
About what?
About concentrating more on her art form, maybe, or going to a rehab. If I understood
I
you
don't-
right, you were the person she's talking to in that song, no?
Yeah, I
In
mean,
terms- yeah.
I didn't want to get into this. She went to rehab about 15 times. That isn't even an issue. I spoke to her, I was with her most days, and I spoke to her every day. There were so many family interventions. But the thing is that people look... I mean, let me ask you something. Are you a music journalist or just a... Right. Do you know about her tours of Brazil in 2010 and 2011?
I heard about it.
Okay. So some of them were incredible.
Yeah.
They're never spoken about because it doesn't fit the agenda of that stupid film that went before. So a lot of people think 2008, that was it. That's not the case. 2010, 2011, there was tours of Brazil. There were some not good moments, but there were some fantastic moments. And the family were with her all of the time, you know. But as you probably realise yourself, you know, you can't force somebody to do something they don't want to do. But in terms of her music was... She was always listening to music and she was always singing, but she wasn't always writing. And that was up to her. She felt that she could do it. If she didn't have anything to write about, she wouldn't write.
Has she tried to give you advice on how you should sing, or what you should sing, or which genre you should sing? Has she?
Gave me advice?
Have you?
No.
Yeah, like to direct you somehow in your art?
No.
No.
She thought I was good.
Okay, and she kept you going.
Yeah, we just... But we were so good. We used to do songs in a show. We couldn't sing. It was impossible because she'd come in on my spot, I'd come in on hers. It wasn't like me and Caroline. Caroline, we were super professional. Amy and I were not professional. You know, she'd come on the stage. I said, get off the stage. You know, it's not your turn. But she just want to be standing next to me. And then we'd sing Fly Me to the Moon. We must have sung it 100 times. And every time she came in on the wrong spot. So, you know, all of these things from a great professional like Amy, you know, the basic stuff, but it wasn't important. You know, like Frank Sinatra would have fainted he'd have gone, oh my, you know, if Nancy had come in on his spot, he would have fainted or he would have punched Nancy or something like that. But we just didn't care. And everybody that saw us doing those duets, they still talk about it. Mm-hmm. They go, oh, we saw you, it was fantastic, we laughed so much, you were terrible. And we said, yeah, it was just fun.
They liked it was natural. It was not.
It wasn't natural.
Well prepared,
It wasn't rehearsed because she wouldn't rehearse for her own stuff. Why would she rehearse for me? So it wasn't going to happen like that.
And are you only listening to jazz music, or do you have other?
I love classical music. I don't listen to modern music.
You can't.
Well, I can, but you know, but I don't enjoy it. I don't.
So you go really for the classical vintage.
Yeah, or the vintage pop and Tamla. But you know, you listen to Amy's stuff today, it's relevant today. You hear music coming out today, there isn't really anything that's better than what Amy brought out. You know, you think that the music would progress, but I don't think it's progressed very much at all. I mean, we know that, but I mean, Amy brought out we bought out a redigitalised CD a few months ago, and Amy came back to number 12 in the UK charts. Mm-hmm. So, you know, people are still buying her music, want to listen to her music. They're crazy about any music that they think there might be some music left over. We did find some stuff, but we've got to clean it up. And hopefully there'll be some tracks that we'll be able to use. I mean, that'd be great if we can do that.
Cool.
But you had a very special taste already when you were young, because I think you were a teenager in the 60s, right?
What'd you say?
You were a teenager in the 60s. When were you born? 1950? Or
50,
somewhat?
yeah.
Yeah, right. Then you had a very unusual taste when you
Yes.
were young already.
Well, I love the
Because-
Beatles.
Did you? Yeah.
Love the Beatles and all the Rolling Stones and Tamla Motown. But my mum and dad were listening to Frank Sinatra and Tony Bennett. So in our house there was everything. In everything was being played. Yeah.
Can you repeat it, please?
Thilo plays the most money. And
He is driving the farthest to
he
see it.
he drove the furthest to capture me. And what I said was the musicianship in the band is fantastic. From Thilo, is a wonderful pianist and just wonderful soloists in the band. And what I said was that the band know the music inside, the songs inside out. I've performed with groups, like Fly Me to the Moon, and they can all read music. They can all read the music, and the musician says, "Oh, I've heard this song before." Do you understand what I'm saying? He's actually heard "Fly Me to the Moon" before, and he can play it, and he can play it quite well, but he doesn't know the song. And a lot of younger people don't know all these songs. So it's just a privilege to play with this band. It's
You
great.
share the same passion about
We do.
about
We
music.
share the same passions about the music.
Da möchte ich kurz einhaken. Es ist ja oftmals die Frage, warum macht man das alte Repertoire und war das nicht einfach zu oft schon da? Und ich glaube, wenn man an dieses Repertoire mit einem gewissen Respekt rangeht und auch mit einer gewissen Intelligenz, dann kann man das schon tun. Und es muss einfach die Qualität passen. Und die Musiker, die ich in der Band habe, es gibt ja im Jazz so ein bisschen, wie in jeder Musik auch, es gibt die einen sagen, nur modern ist toll, das andere ist nur, das Alte ist toll. Und ich finde, die richtig intelligenten Musiker heute, die richtig guten und intelligenten Musiker, die sind völlig open-minded. Es sind eigentlich die nicht ganz so Guten, die immer in ihren Scheuklappen denken und die immer sagen, ja, nur Modern ist prima, nur Vintage ist gut, sondern die richtig Guten sagen, es gibt gute und es gibt schlechte Musik. Und wenn ich so einen jungen Solisten beispielsweise in der Big Band denke wie den Julian Bossert. Julian Bossert ist ein junger Tenorist und der spielt, wenn man seine eigenen Videos sieht, der spielt völlig abgefahrenes Zeug, total verrückt. Und wenn er hier in der Band sitzt, dann hat er eine unglaubliche Freude, auch mal diesen etwas älteren Vintage-Sound mit einer so großen Liebe zu spielen, neben Norbert Nagel, der den Saxophonsatz brillant führt. Dann sieht man, auf welch hohem Niveau diese Musiker agieren. Aber das können eben nicht alle, das können nur die da oben offen sind. Die anderen spielen zwar auch gut modern, aber sie würden total einbrechen, wenn sie in einer solchen Band sitzen, weil sie einfach nicht verstanden haben, worum es geht. Das muss man mal ganz klar sagen. Und ich kann den jungen Musikern eigentlich nur raten, die natürlich jetzt alle auch den modernen Jazz lernen, was wichtig ist. Man muss sich mit allem beschäftigen, aber vergesst nicht die Basis, vergesst nicht den alten Sound und wo die Musik herkommt. Und vor allem, wenn ihr sie spielt, spielt sie mit Respekt und auch der Intelligenz, die sie erfordert. Nur dann kann sie gut werden, nur dann kann man oberes Drittel Bundesliga oder auch Champions League spielen.
Champions League. I heard Champions League.
Champions League.
In respect of what?
Bavaria Munich.
Oh.
Football, no.
That's what.
No, I told about the musicians and the intelligence to play this kind of music. And it's not only important that they are good, they have to understand what they do. Jupp, gibt es denn noch Fragen?
Da hinten schaut es so aus. Ja? Nee? Nina, ist draußen noch was? Hörst du mich?
Nina, ist noch was online?
Nee, bis jetzt nicht.
Okay. Ja, ich glaube, es gibt ja hier im Saal noch einige Bayerische Rundfunk und verschiedene möchten noch Einzelinterviews haben. Das können wir dann im Anschluss machen. Es kommt noch eine Frage. Ja. Nina?
Ich komme raus.
Ja, Moment.
Dein Lieblingsstück auf der CD, Thilo?
Ob ich ein my favorite tune?
Und warum?
Whose favourite tune?
I love them all. Sorry, it's very difficult. I can't say. I love them all. They are so different, and each tune is wonderful. So I love them all. Mitch, do you have a favorite tune?
What, on this album?
Yeah.
Obviously. I love I Concentrate on You. I mean, obviously, there's only so many. We couldn't sing what we wanted because it's just you and I. I mean, they're all great. They're all great. It's the wrong time. That's my favourite. That's great. These are two lovely songs we have here today. They're all lovely.
Okay, there was one question. I think Peter asked me, wir nahmen dieses Album hier in diesem Studio auf. Also wir sind auch in dem Studio, wo das Album produziert wurde. Hier hat die Big Band aufgenommen, hier hat auch Mitch gesungen, hier hat Caroline gesungen. Also wir sind am Ort des Entstehens und das hat auch wunderbar funktioniert, um diese Frage noch zu beantworten. Ja, Bettina, ich glaube, wenn wir keine Fragen mehr haben hier im Raum und auch keine online mehr, dann würde ich sagen, beenden wir den offiziellen Teil dieser kleinen Pressekonferenz. Herzlichen Dank an Bettina Möller, dass du uns so schön durchgeführt hast. Thanks to Mitch und vielen Dank euch draußen allen. Und dann würde ich sagen, fangen wir hier an und machen jetzt natürlich an die Caro, um Gottes Willen, liebe Caro, schön. Du lachst mich an. Schön. Genau, herzlichen Dank an Caroline Kiesewetter. Und ich würde sagen, dann beenden wir den Livestream und widmen uns den Damen und Herren hier noch für die Fragen. Caro, schöne Grüße nach Hamburg.
Schöne Grüße an euch. Ich wünsche euch noch einen ganz tollen Tag. See you, Mitch.
Nice to see you, Caroline. See you soon.
Alles Gute, bleibt gesund. Tschüss.
Okay, danke schön. I love you.
I love you.
Yeah.
Ich liebe dich. Is that right? I love you.
All right?
I love you, hums the April breeze. I love you, echo the hills. I love you, the golden dawn agrees, as once more she sees daffodils. It's spring again and birds on the wing again. They start to sing again that old melody. I love you, that's the song of songs, and it all belongs to you and to me. It's spring again and birds on the wing again. They start to sing again that old melody. I love you, that's the song of songs, and it all belongs to you and to me. And it all belongs to you and to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
A bit early in the morning for those high notes.
Okay. Jo. Gut.